Everyone these days hears phrases like, "Save the polar bears, the ice caps are melting," which is true, but usually you don't put any real weight on these phrases. Global warming? Pfft, nah, I gotta beat this Mario level. Even so, global warming and climate change are real issues that need to be addressed. But first things first, what's the difference between global warming and climate change? Well, global warming is the rise in the global average temperature of the Earth's surface, caused by greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which we'll get to in a bit. Climate change is a significant change in the measures of climate lasting for an extended period of time. So that sounds a little bit confusing. Basically, global warming is that the Earth is getting hot, and climate change is that it's staying that way. Which, in itself, probably doesn't sound like a big deal. I mean, who doesn't like going to the beach on a hot summer day? But what if it's hot all the time? Now we have a problem. But what causes this problem? Well, the cause of this abnormality is, surprise, us. Most scientists have come to agree that the main cause is human expansion of greenhouse effect, or the fact that heat won't leave the atmosphere, is us, humans! Woohoo! You see, some of the gases that make up the atmosphere, like water vapor, methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide, are keeping the heat trapped in the atmosphere. So it's kind of like when you're a little kid and you try to hide behind a blanket. After a while, it starts to get really hot and kind of difficult to breathe under the blanket, right? It's the same concept. And all of this is happening because over the last century, the burning of fossil fuels like coal and oil has increased the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Even things like clearing land for agricultural, industry, and other human activities have increased the concentration of different greenhouse gases. And even though the consequences of this are a bit unpredictable, here are some of the things that are most likely. The Earth will become warmer overall. So even though, again, this could sound okay, there are many creatures that depend on cold climates. Warmer temperatures will also lead to more evaporation and more rain overall, which could make some areas wetter and some drier where it shouldn't be like that. And even stronger greenhouse effects will warm the oceans and melt the glaciers. That's where the polar bears come into effect. On the other hand, some crops may respond favorably to the increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide, since they feed on it, remember? But at the same time, they could potentially change the areas where the plants grow, and they won't be able to grow as well. And another thing, Texas heat waves are bad enough, but with global warming and climate change, they'll become even more intense. And also, another thing that could potentially deal much damage is hurricanes will also become more frequent and more intense. All of this sounds pretty bad, right? And we're trying to fix things. Organizations like the EPA or the Environmental Protection Agency are trying their best to see what's causing these greenhouse gases and avoiding doing those things as much as possible. But us, as students and teachers who aren't agents of the Environmental Protection Agency, can also help. We can do things like riding a bike instead of riding a car, or carpooling to reduce the amount of pollution. Or, if you're a shut-in homeschooler like me, who doesn't go out anyway, you can reduce how much you use your heater, or change the light bulbs in your house to make them more environmentally friendly. The EPA is collecting data to try and help local communities to adapt to potential climate change, and are also trying their best to slow down the effects. Even though some damage has already been dealt, we can still help to do our best to prevent it.